Hello, my motor enthusiasts. Injecting some fresh fuel into the Formula One rumor mill, reigning world champion Max Verstappen is rumored to be considering his future at Red Bull amidst internal team turbulence. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, has sparked the speculation, stating that no driver is bigger than the team, not even their champion. A public spat between Horner and Verstappen's father, Jos, has added fuel to the fire. Toto Wolff, Mercedes' team principal, has shown interest in signing Verstappen, despite the Silver Arrow's recent shaky performance. Meanwhile, the seat alongside Verstappen at Red Bull is heating up, with veteran Fernando Alonso and Ferrari's Carlos Sainz both in the frame. However, with Sainz's past tense relationship with Verstappen and Red Bull's performance issues compared to Ferrari, the future of Verstappen's teammate remains as unpredictable as a wet race in Monaco. Quite the dramatic pit stop, wouldn't you say? Hello everyone, I'm your host Enzo.
And I'm your commentator for the day, William Turner.
We're super excited to be here with you all on the F1 Motor Fever podcast channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to keep up with the latest in Formula One. Now, let's go full throttle. The Formula One world is rumbling with change, and it seems Max Verstappen's future at Red Bull is hanging in the balance. His contract might extend until 2028, but recent disputes within the team might lead to an early departure. Christian Horner's emphatic declaration that no one is bigger than the team adds another layer of uncertainty. Meanwhile, the clock seems to be ticking for Sergio Perez, despite a promising start to the season.
It reminds me of my childhood, actually. Growing up in Birmingham, my friends and I would often have these intense bicycle races around our neighborhood. There was this one kid, let's call him John. Now, John was the fastest among us, the champion, if you will. But his father was our makeshift team boss, and let's just say he was a bit too passionate. He'd argue with the other parents over the smallest things, and it created quite a bit of tension. Eventually, John decided to race independently, leaving his father's team. It was a bold move, but sometimes you've got to prioritize the harmony of the team over individual relationships.
Quite an apt anecdote. The dynamics of a team, even in our childhood games, can mirror the complexities of professional sports. It's a reminder that the bonds between team members can significantly influence the course of events. It seems Red Bull's situation is taking a fascinating turn. Perez might be feeling the heat as his role as the backup when Max fails is under scrutiny, especially after his driver error-filled season last year. If Red Bull decides to shake things up, the seat next to Verstappen will undoubtedly become a most wanted asset.
Indeed, many would jump at the chance to measure themselves against Verstappen. Fernando Alonso, who's still considered one of the greats despite his aging car, could see this opportunity as a final shot at the title.
And let's not forget about Carlos Sainz. His move to Ferrari, followed by a Grand Prix win, put him back on the radar. We could see him return to Red Bull, where his Formula One journey began. There's quite a bit of history between him and Verstappen from their Toro Rosso days.
True. It's interesting to note what former Ferrari engineer and Dutch F1 commentator Ernest Noors has to say. He believes Red Bull recruiting Sainz could bring several benefits. Meanwhile, Christian Horner seems to be in the middle of a power struggle within Red Bull.
It's a complex situation, and Horner might have to make a tough call. If he feels the pressure from Verstappen and Helmut Marko, bringing in a driver like Sainz might give him a powerful ally and a potential champion. This shakeup at Red Bull is something to keep an eye on. It's going to make for an interesting season. It appears the old partnership of Sainz and Verstappen at Toro Rosso wasn't all smooth sailing. Apparently, it was quite a toxic atmosphere, according to Dr. Helmut Marko. But despite this, Marko praised Sainz for his efforts.
Indeed, Sainz has often been underestimated due to his father's fame as a world rally champion. That might have cast a shadow over his accomplishments, but Sainz has proven his mettle.
He's managed to rise above the challenges. When he was overlooked for a Red Bull seat, despite his impressive development, he took it in stride. Many believed he was the one who should have been promoted, not Max. But Marco's reasoning was that Max simply was the faster driver, despite having less experience.
And even at Ferrari, Sainz continues to display his resilience. He's had to play second fiddle to Charles Leclerc, but he's always there, ready to step in when Leclerc slips up.
Sainz's tenacity could be just what Red Bull needs. If they recruit him, it sends a clear message to Verstappen and his camp that the team isn't there for their comfort and privilege. Sainz's resilience might even pose a challenge for Verstappen. The Red Bull dynamics are certainly something to watch closely this season. Shifting our focus back to Ferrari, they seem to be closing the gap on Red Bull. The fierce rivalry between the two teams has once again taken center stage, most notably at the Australian Grand Prix.
Yes, Ferrari's performance there wasn't just competitive. It actually surpassed Red Bull in many aspects. Red Bull themselves admitted that they would have struggled to win against Ferrari's blistering pace.
The Ferrari versus Red Bull saga is an ongoing battle, one that continually shifts and evolves. It's clear that the 2024 season has brought Ferrari back to the forefront, challenging Red Bull's supremacy on the track.
And let's not forget, this comeback by Ferrari has happened before, back at the Las Vegas race in 2023. It appears that the momentum they gained is still very much alive.
It's a riveting scenario, isn't it? This fierce competition is exactly what makes Formula One so exciting. With Ferrari's resurgence, the battle for supremacy in this season is anyone's game. William, what's the latest goss on the web?
Well, let me read this out. A user going by the name of the SneakerNet posted, quote, "Off topic, Keanu Reeves' firearms trainer says Lewis Hamilton is one of the most naturally gifted shooters he's ever seen. If I had him more often, he'd be the best that's ever held a gun," unquote.
Blimey, that's quite the compliment. What's the chatter in response?
User by the name of I Forgot My Old Account quipped, quote, "When Lewis inevitably begins his Hollywood arc, I just need one scriptwriter to write, 'Is that a Glock?' as a line for him," unquote.
Ha, Glock reference. Classic. Anything else of note?
King Toke 1 replied with, quote, "Mission 44, unquote. And Ego Foodie chimed in with, quote, "Not a 44 Magnum," unquote. To which Ian Thin 1 replied, quote, "Mission 44 Magnum Desert Eagle would be a hell of a title for an alternate take on 2021 Abu Dhabi," unquote. There's more. One user named Hunter Irked added, quote, "44 Magnuson," unquote. And Funkiest J even joked, quote, "Bono, my bullets are gone," unquote.
Oh, these comments crack me up. It seems like Lewis could have another career waiting for him once his racing days are done. Thanks for joining us here at F1 Motor Fever Podcast. We've had a cracking episode today, diving into the thrilling rivalry between Ferrari and Red Bull and the potential of seeing Lewis Hamilton in Hollywood. Remember, your engagement helps us fuel this podcast. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share our discussions with your friends, families, and fellow racing enthusiasts.
And don't forget to drop a comment with your thoughts. We love hearing from you. We've got plenty more in store, so make sure you stay tuned. You never know what spicy tidbit we might uncover next.
We're grateful for your company and look forward to sharing more racing insights with you in the next episode of F1 Motor Fever Podcast.
And before we sign off, remember, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.